The story of the day, it will appear to me, is a report that the President of Nigeria has returned from his working leave to France and the United Kingdom. When he arrived yesterday, he was received at the airport. We didn't see the usual culprits, the people who leave their states and relocate to Abuja to go and do welcoming and departure ceremonies for the president. The sculptures of the airport when the president is traveling or returning. But we saw one governor from Nasarawa State, Sule, that's his name. But he was there, maybe perhaps he will claim proximity. Yeah. The Senate president was there. But this ritual of governors going to welcome and bid a farewell to the president, I think it should stop. Or we'll find a way around it. Those governors should stay in their states and work on behalf of their people. They should not ridicule themselves any further. However, President Tinubu is back. We welcome him. But he has returned at a time where there are urgent national issues that he has to address and which must engage his attention. First is insecurity. While President Tinubu was away, we had issues in Borno State.
Your president is back from a working leave. So he's back to Aso Rock. Now, take your time. Listen to this video about Dr. Abati and Rufai Oseni as they respond to Tinubu's return. He horribly came back to lift the emergency rule in Rivers State. That's the only reason why he came back, why he cut short his travel, his stay in France. So that is the only reason. But hey, now you are back. Problems are waiting for you. So now you need to choose. The first thing on the list is to suspend the emergency rules in Rivers State so that Sinfu Bada can go back, which you have done. The second one is to head on start solving the problem of insecurity, because that one is the third priorities now. Then find solution to reduce the food and services. You make order the other day when you were in France that the FEC to crash price of food and services while you were in France, but they didn't do it. They do not have the capacity to do it. Now you are back. You need to order them again. You need to enforce that statement that they should, with immediate effect, to reduce the cost of food and services. Now you are back. Let's see the magic, because it looked as if you were there. You instructed your boys to do. They don't know how to do it. They do not know how to do it. Now you are back. Show them how to do it. How a statement made by Tinubu can easily reduce the price of food and services without working. Show them how to do it. Let us feel the impact of you. Come back to Aso Rock, that your boy didn't understand your explanation. Now you are back. Show them how to do it so that next time while you are away, they will know how to do it better. They will not have to wait for you again. Welcome back to Aso Rock. Take your time, listen to this video, but please don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just watch the video, what you share, you listen to.
All of a sudden, 4 or 5 local governments in Borno State became unsafe. The INEC voter registration process had to be relocated to Maiduguri. As you speak, Maiduguri is over-congested, which raises questions about the challenge of insecurity. In Katsina, community leaders reportedly met with some bandits, some criminals, to use the word that the Tinubu government itself adopted. And we saw the criminals, carrying AK-47 and all of that, and being negotiated with yesterday. That should be a subtle reminder to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that as he returns, he needs to also focus on the problem of insecurity. In Zamfara State, there were also reports of, bandits, insurgents, terrorists trying to overwhelm 4 local governments. But it took the gallantry of the Nigerian armed forces to overwhelm them. So that's one issue. The second issue.
Saudi Arabia will pop some money in Olam. Okay, that's good. They've bought some portion of that. But what about the other investments? Okay, we hear that the Brazilian investment here, they've started talking to Ogun State as regards starting. That's good. But where are the viable investments? Because you see, in these ecosystems I've talked about, the animal breeding and genetics ecosystem, the value chain, the storage and production and everything, you need investment. Agriculture is a multi-billion-dollar investment. And this can also help to be able to diversify away from the law for crude oil and everything. Because when you look at it, in the next 50, 60 years, what will be the lot of crude oil? Will it be sustainable with the new emerging energies and things like that? And Mr. Dogara saying that, President Tinubu inherited debris. I don't like it when you say that. Because he inherited debris, but this same President Tinubu, while campaigning, supported Buhari and said, we'll continue with the policies. So you knew you were coming in. You knew we had ways and means that were collected, that this government said they collected because they weren't able to fight COVID. And they spent billions to buy vaccines and some other things. Where is the accountability threshold as regards that? But at the same time, President Tinubu has also, in the bid of stopping that problem, incurred more debts that we have to pay. And when he keeps saying, we have to go through these hard times, where is the accountability in all of this? The first thing the president said he was going to do, he bought a jet for himself, for good measure. So you are buying a jet for yourself. People are suffering. You are running 3 concurrent budget cycles. There's a lot of problem on ground. There's massive level of insecurity. The economy, you have devalued the currency. Things are not any better for businesses and all of that. There are higher interest rates. Okay, probably now maybe the CBN will start reducing rate because they've seen a reduction in inflation numbers. So you have all these multi-problems. And you say people should be patient. Oh, it takes time for reform. But on your own side, the things you ought to also do to correspond with that reform, we're not seeing it to a large extent. So hence the gulf. So you see, I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson that said something. He said, what you do speaks so loud, I can't hear what you say. What a lot of Nigeria are seeing is the optics of you bought yourself a private jet and other things. Till today, you've not told us the accountability as regards the humanitarian minister. Has that case been solved? You say, okay, you are paying, what's it called, conditional cash transfer. Who are those feeling the impact?
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, let me start with River State. Again, welcome back, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Even though, like I mentioned earlier on, there hasn't been a reason for why he cut short his working vacation to France and the UK. A number of people have said it's good timing or perfect timing. Tomorrow being 18th of September 2025 and 6 months to the expiration of the state of emergency declared in River State and the restoration of the elected governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara. Perhaps it's a good coincidence that he's back to oversee a smooth transition. Isn't it interesting and ironic that under a democratic government, we're coming in from a sole administrator back to the elected democratic governor. But it's ironic as well that the sole administrator made this statement at a public lecture titled "Democracy and Good Governance." And I thought, oh, how is that poetic? Is that poetic in its way? Because when we're looking at democracy or democratic structures in River State, in the last 6 months, a lot of criticism has talked about how we have derailed the progress of democracy in the state by the installation of a sole administrator without, in some questionable cause. Some people might say, okay, well, the security and the stability that Vice Admiral Ibas is talking about, we haven't seen anything like that of the sort. In fact, we've seen more instability and security threats in some parts of the country, particularly in the north, where a state of emergency was not called. But why River State in particular? And that's why some people have said, well, when I say some people, I mean in the opposition, as reported in the papers this morning, who have come out to say that Vice Admiral Ibas was doing the bidding of the president. And in fact, post his tenure in office, he should be subjected to a probe. The money he spent, recall that some of the legacies he's leaving behind, if we're looking back, was the controversial sacking of the board members of parastatals, also the execution of the local council elections, even though he's continuously maintained that it was a peaceful election, it was a good election. But we analyzed the outcome of the election. We talked about voter apathy. We looked at almost a selection process as opposed to an election process. We had some of the elders of River State come out to talk about how the same criticism that was had during Governor Fubara's time of the 90-day period, 90-day notice that also had been given before an election was executed was not done, and nothing happened. So it questions perhaps the kind of democracy that's happening in River State. But even also importantly is what next for Governor Fubara on resumption of office tomorrow. The APC spokesperson in River State had suggested to him that he should join the APC quickly so that he will be the leader of the APC in River State. Is that going to be perhaps a viable option for him? Are we going to see another governor from the PDP, jack back from PDP to the APC now that he's coming to power, in gratitude to the president for how he helped him to manage a state that the people put in trust to him to be able to execute as governor? How is he going to work with the State House of Assembly now that we see that many of the people who are in that State House of Assembly and many of the elected officials of the local government council are people who are loyal to his predecessor, Mr. Nyesom Wike? How is he going to manage the state of politics in River State on resumption? Is he just going to sit quietly through the 2 years and ruffle no feathers so that we do not have another case of a state of emergency? So these things are things that we're looking at. And then how is he going to earn again the trust of the Rivers people? A number of people who felt disappointed at the way in which he handled matters, or perhaps how docile he was in the face of opposition by his predecessor. A number of things to look at as to whether or not his last 2 years in office, if he does not seek a re-election, would be successful, would be quiet, would finally work for the Rivers people, the rebuilding of the State House of Assembly. A lot of work cut out for him. The politics of it on one hand, his decision of whether or not he will remain in the PDP or accede to the suggestion made by the APC spokesperson in River State and finally join the APC party as leader of the state of River State. Now, moving away from that, let's talk about Mr. Dogara and what he says. Beyond talking about inheriting a bad economy, the truth is that he talks about ways and means that was abused under the last administration. We keep mentioning the fact that the last administration was an APC government, and a number of these people were quiet when these things were happening. So why now? What has triggered this openness and ability to come out to criticize the way the last government was run? It means that perhaps there's still some people in government who might see things that are not working well, but because their interests are not in line with that, they keep quiet and watch Nigerians suffer and languish and and not say anything until a new government comes in. It is the same APC government. And I believe that 2 years post-election, the Tinubu administration has had enough time to move away from complaining about the fact that they inherited a bad economy. What have they done? Unfortunately, the moves that have been made so far do not, in some quarters, yes, they beat their chest and say that we have done well, the economy is on the progress, on the path to success. And in fairness to them, a number of institutions have come out to support that claim. But Nigerians, who are the main stakeholders, have not been able to agree to that because hardship is rife in the country. A lot of people are talking about the price of food and their ability to purchase. We're looking at the national minimum wage. We're looking at the implementation of the national minimum wage. We're looking at the income of disposable income for many Nigerians. We're looking at some of the promises that have been made and not kept by this administration. And so when we look at the previous administration, it is time, I do think, 2 years post-election, post-inauguration, that the Tinubu administration takes ownership and begins to talk about how, and stop talking about the previous administration and move forward to see what their own policies are doing for Nigerians and the Nigerian people.
During his 10-day absence, was the point raised about the attempt to sell Nigeria's equity in joint ventures, particularly with Renaissance Energy, Wando, and Seplat. We discussed that yesterday. And we said yesterday that when Atiku Abubakar, Waziri Adam, our former vice president, raised the point about transparency and accountability, we said that he was raising a basic principle that is unexceptionable. Can President Tinubu please address that when he returns, as he returns, to make sure that personal interest does not override sovereign interest, even when we are talking about privatization in that particular sector? The third point will be rivers. Ibakete Ibas, Vice Admiral, is beating his chest and saying he has introduced stability in River State. I wrote an informed essay on the back page of This Day yesterday, where I said, no, he has not introduced any peace. What he has introduced is a piece of the graveyard. But more importantly, the people of River State are saying that the 6-month tenure should be audited. How did Ibakete Ibas, how did he spend the money of the people of River State? He said he was going to rebuild the House of Assembly. Did he do it? How many people did he consult with? So all of that will be within the same line of transparency and accountability. Now about agric reforms. Look, government always uses agric reform as some point of propaganda. Under President Obasanjo, as head of state, military head of state, we had, was it Operation Feed the Nation, right? Okay, what came out of it? After him, we had Shagari talking about Green Revolution. After him, we had Babangida talking about, was it NADA? Something called NADA, Then we had President Jonathan, when we had, in my own estimation, the best minister of agriculture and rural development that we have ever had, in the person of Akinwumi Additional, who went ahead and further proved himself at the African Development Bank. After that, we had a president, Muhammadu Buhari, who slept through the 8 years and did nothing about agriculture. And now we have a Tinubu president who is talking about agriculture. But what is he doing about agricultural reforms? Now, we have been told, we have money from a foreign agency. They are going to give us more money. Okay, it's not just about giving us more money. How is the Ministry of Agri funded? These are questions. 2, President Tinubu has been talking about tractors. One man came from Belarus, or wherever he came from, an old classmate of Nigeria. Yes. He showed up, they said he has supplied tractors. Now, the issue is, why are those tractors not supplied to the states, even subsidized? Because the federal government of Nigeria is not the one going to do it. We have spoken on this platform about Lagos State, Zamfara, Niger State, all of them coming together and saying we are committed to agriculture. Now, what is the federal government doing to support them? Tractors are like airplanes. You have collected tractors from Belarus. They are there. If you don't deploy them, those tractors will go to waste because they are mechanical structures. So why is it a problem to collaborate with the state governments and put these tractors to use? The other issue that they will have to deal with will be about access to land. The federal government doesn't own land. Land under the Land Use Act is held in trust by the states. Now, what are they doing to make sure that these state governments provide land to make agriculture possible? So all this political propaganda about agriculture without taking the consequential steps is just, what it is, propaganda. I don't want to use a stronger word. Now, let me go quickly to Minister Bagudu, Minister of National Planning and Budget. He is an investment banker. So if he says Nigeria needs $100 billion in terms of investment annually, he knows what he's talking about, probably. Okay, so we ask him, all these trips that we have been supporting, We say President Tinubu is the chief foreign policy officer, is the chief marketer of the country. Okay, how much investment has this government been able to bring? They went to Qatar. How much has Qatar brought? They went to Saudi Arabia. How much has Saudi Arabia brought? They went to India. How much have they brought home? They went to Japan. How much have you received? They went to Brazil. We need a proper audit of what has been brought in terms of investment and sectorally. It's not enough to just tell us that investments, we need this investment, we need that investment. So what are they bringing? However, the rub of it is about local investment. I think the Nigerian government under President Tinubu contradicts itself when he says we're looking for foreign investment. We need industrialization. When local investors are being put under pressure, and that takes me to the issue of Dangote refinery. Look at the stress that Dangote refinery is going through. These are local people trying to invest in the environment and who believe in Nigeria and Africa and who say that the best way that you can develop the country is for you to support your own private sector. The people who are trying to invest in Nigeria, they have been subjected to a lot of hardship. Now that the president is back, the investment that they are looking for overseas, they have not brought. We only just have promises. We have not seen the impact. We have not seen the effect. The people who are trying to invest in this country, they deserve support. The harassment that Dangote refinery is receiving should be another issue that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should address as he returns to work this morning.
Now that Tinubu is back, he knows that a lot of problems is waiting for him, even pile up waiting for him. In fact, he has to choose where to start, which one to attend to first. All of them, they are all very important and urgent. Welcome back. So now we'll start praying you the cassette, since you've been away for days now. What happened in Nigeria? I know the major reason why you came back is because of the state of emergency in Rivers State. You would want to come to suspend that emergency rules in Rivers State so that the democratically elected governor can return back to work, can resume office. That's the reason why you cut off your stay in France. If not, there's no other reason. The other problem in Nigeria does not concern you. It has no, those ones are not important for you to return back, to cut your stay in France. No. Because of emergency. Because you don't want to add another problem to say you declare a state of emergency. The time you know that you were going to the state of emergency, last since you traveled and you are in France, you waited for the time to expire and you didn't return back. That would have been another topic. That's why you quickly had to come back. And you can't be in France and say you suspend or you lift the state of emergency. That was the only reason why he came back. Not because he cares about this problem in the country, not because he cares about you, not because of the insecurity or because of the numbers of people that have lost their lives since he traveled. No. Now the thing is, Tinubu declared a state of emergency. What was the reason? He said there was a problem. There was war in Rivers State. That was why a military has to take over Rivers State, because there was a problem between Wike and Saint Fumbara. A state of emergency was declared to ease or to calm down the state. The thing is, since 6 months now, 6 months has expired in office. The sole administrator has not arrested one person as a result of the problem that was in Rivers State. One person has not been arrested in Rivers State. 2 persons has not been arrested. Nobody has charged to court to say he was igniting fire in Rivers State. He was the one behind the state of insecurity in Rivers State. Nobody has been arrested. The military, Christopher Musa, has not arrested anybody in Rivers State. Egbetokun, Inspector General Police, has not arrested anybody in Rivers State. Commissioner of Police in Rivers State has not arrested anybody. No issues has been reported in Rivers State that because of the war that led to the suspension of that sitting governor, nobody, no problem, nobody lost his or her life as a result of the problems. Nobody lost their lives. Can you, what irony? So all this were the reason, because there was war. Would there be a war that nobody lost their lives, nobody died as a result of war, problem, fight, bomb blast? Nothing. There was nothing like that. Nobody lost their lives. Everything was calm since day one of that emergency decree, the expiration of that time, 6 months. There was no further bomb blast, no pipeline explosion, no incident of 2 people fighting. Nobody was arrested. Nothing. The only problem that one causes to the Rivers State, it removed the sitting governor from office. A sitting governor were removed from office. According to them, over 17,000 people lost their jobs. Over 17,000 people lost their jobs. Tinubu did not care. Like I said, nobody was arrested. But here the thing is, the north, most of the state in the north, since this one was suspended, the problem in the north are letters or hundreds of people die in different states in the north. Emergency has not been declared in none of those states as emergency has been declared, even if the governor has not been removed. But no a state of emergency were declared in those states to calm down the state, to bring peace and unity to the state. People lost their lives, hundreds of them, starting from Benue to Jos to Zamfara to Katsina to Niger to just all of them, Sokoto, into that region. Different states in that region. No one does. I think about 5 states now since day one. People lost their lives. Now a lot of them are out of their villages. They are in IDP camp because their village is not safe. So what is Tinubu doing about it? In spite of this problem, he went away on working holiday. Reasons why he came back is because of this emergency. He doesn't want to be in France to tweet or to write to say he suspend the emergency rules in Rivers State. Now you are back. Oh, the problems are waiting for you. Even the state, in my state, where a state of emergency were not declared, the problem in my state, the level of insecurity in my state is far higher than the Rivers State, where a state of emergency were declared and remove the governor. If they remove Edo State governor now, everybody will be happy. Yes. Do you understand? So that is a problem, because Tinubu did not remove Sin Fumbara because of problem in Rivers State. He removed Sin Fumbara to catch up power, to loot money. That's the only thing. Now he gives opportunity for this sole administrator who have retired for many years, who does not have anything again. And now you give opportunity for him to make money again for himself and for his family. That is it. Only God knows how much this man has been injected into his skin for this 6 months he spent in office. Now people are complaining that he does not pay them their salary, their allowances for this 6 months. It's not because there's no money. There's money. The money people budgeted. This is a level. Anyways, you see, so now Tinubu is back. Problems are waiting for you. You need to choose where to start from. All of them, they are very important. They are very important to us. So there's no excuse again. Please share this video and please subscribe to this YouTube channel now. Please, I'll be your guy. Run out for me now. Like, share, comment, and leave your honest opinion. Leave your honest comment. What do you think about this? Yes, please share.